Okay, just welcome all of you. Just one minute. Welcome to all of you to our lecture series, Dr. Deba Prasad Sarkar Memorial Lecture, and we are thankful that our collaborator partner, Behala College, Principal Madam has been given consent, Dr. Shomila Mitro, to kindly give her consent to collaborate with to observe the National Immunization Day 2021. This year, due to COVID pandemic, the immunization day, the pulse polio immunization actually, is postponed, and as per the COVID vaccination was started in this month. For that, it is postponed, and 31st January, today is the immunization day, means pulse polio day actually. It is in India. Today is this observed. So in conjunction with that, we're going to have a lecture. Our resource person is Dr. Sumit Poddar, and I welcome Principal Madam Dr. Shomila Mitro, the principal of Behala College, to give her welcome address. Madam, please.
Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, madam.
Good afternoon. A warm welcome to all participants and organizers for organizing today's webinar to observe National Immunization Day in India. My best wishes and regards to Dr. Sumit Kumar Poddar on behalf of Dr. Taroknath Poddar Memorial Foundation, and also to the Research and Development Division, Lincoln University College, Malaysia. I convey my regards to Dr. Sudipta Poddar and Dr. Shondip Poddar of Rajiv Gandhi Memorial Ayurvedic College and Deputy Vice Chancellor. It is really a pleasure that Behala College has been given the opportunity for this collaboration of today's program. I must thank my zoology department and Dr. Waliza Ansar for coordinating all throughout. I also mention and thank our president, Dr. Aurobindo Ghosh, for his active motivation, and as chairperson of IQAC, I also mention and thank Dr. Ujjaini Mukhopadhyay for her fine-tuning and back-end support. Behala College has a glorious history since 1963. At present, it is graded A by NAC assessment and runs both UG and PG department. Dr. Deba Prasad Sarkar guided this college from 1979, 3rd March till 98. I am fortunate enough that I got the opportunity to work with Sir Dr. Deba Prasad Sarkar. I pay my gratitude to his departed soul. I also welcome Mrs. Dipanita Sarkar, daughter of our past principal Deba Prasad Sarkar and HM of Gangadharpur BM Balika Vidyalaya, for her presence today. Although we are all passing through a pandemic situation, yet I must say Behala College has never stopped its journey. And along with thousands of students, we are running a very fruitful academic and educational atmosphere outside the classroom with updated technology. We have organized many webinars by this time and no doubt proved that in no way the world can stop a student-teacher relationship, whatever pandemic situation comes. We therefore feel that education will be there as long as students and teachers are in close contact. As we all know, that the Health Ministry has rescheduled the polio vaccination day, also known as National Immunization Day, NID, or Polio Ravivar, to January 31st, today, Sunday. For more than 5 decades, immunization has saved billions of lives. It is very simple yet effective way to protect one's health from a series of diseases and infections. Immunization is a process of administering a vaccine to create resistance against specific disease. As we know, prevention is better than cure. So getting immunized is important for at least 2 reasons. One, to protect yourself and to protect those around you. Vaccines are the best way we have to prevent infectious disease. So successful immunization program depends on the cooperation of every person. And as head of an institution, I feel we must motivate our students, all our stakeholders to go ahead, have the feeling, pay our regards to all those who are working in this field. Once again, thanks a lot to all of you. Take care, stay safe, and always have a positive thinking. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for your encouraging introductory speech. And also, again, I'm thankful that for your permission and your presence. And but we cannot see you there. Maybe some technical error. Let us see. And
Unfortunately, this is the first time it so happened that the video is not working. I don't know what happened. It is
sometimes
not
happen.
taking. Audio is okay, but I don't know what in between has done this. Anyway, we must go ahead.
Sometimes camera maybe connection problem.
No, but
Let us.
this coming anyway.
Thank you, madam. And I just giving a short brief about Dr. Taraknath Poddar, my grandfather, and also grandfather of Dr. Sudipta Poddar. We established this foundation in March 2015 under West Bengal Societies Act. And Dr. Taraknath Poddar was having MSc Zoology and MB, and he was born in Faridpur in Bangladesh, and he passed his bachelor degree, MB degree, MSc Zoology from University of Calcutta. Then he joined Arjikar Medical College and professor of zoology in 1931. He also was joined as a visiting physician in the chest department at Chittaranjan Hospital and Asharam Bhiwaniwala Hospital of Calcutta, active member of Bengal Tuberculosis Association. And he also, 1 century back, he obtained the Kabbo Ratnakar title from Arya Sahitya Samaj, Shohabajar Street, Calcutta. And he has some publications in Acanthocephala on helminths, actually, and the parasites are named according to his name. Like you can see that Acanthocephala and Neochirdamus chilkensis Poddar. And these articles is published in 1938, 1941, 1937 in different journals. And we can understand that that time it is not, internet is not there. So anything published is not so fast going to everywhere and every person can read. But still now in 2019 and 2019, I have seen the citation of that paper and that publication with the name of Dr. Taraknath Poddar. And these are the publications available in Internet, Web of Science till now. and these are still valid. And we actually conducting different types of work. We are more work concerned with different type of conference, events, workshops, etc. Like in 2019, we observed we conducted international conference in Jadavpur University with collaboration with Chittaranjan National Cancer Institute and Lincoln University College, and of course Jadavpur University, and all it was having a great success with 500 delegates. And we also observed last conference in last 2017 also in the venue of Indian Science Congress Association in collaboration with Zoology Department, Calcutta University. We are running one international journal. It is now 4 years. We are in January issue now. It is completing 3rd year already. Now 4th year, first issue going to publish by this month, means by today it will be up. It is indexed in with cross-reference GUI and Google Scholar, and also Egyptian Knowledge Bank, Open Ukrainian Citation, and many others. So we are not working for the means we are working for the benefit of the society and collaborating with different organizations to move forward. Our next event, our Dr. Harishankar is already in our in our this meeting from Surendra College. He is conducting another conference in collaboration with the foundation. So without wasting much time, I want to welcome Ms. Deepanita Sarkar. She is the daughter, actually she is younger than me, to talk about Dr. Deba Prasad Sarkar, the principal of Behala College previously. Deepanita, please. Hello.
Namaskar. A very good, am I audible first?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. A very good afternoon to all the attendees from the Sarkar family. Feeling very proud and fortunate to be a part of this webinar. My regards to all the dignitaries attending this meeting. I start my presentation now.
I have to share or you?
Yeah, can you share that?
Okay.
Dr. Deba Prasad Sarkar, Tamosho Ma Jyotir Gamaya.
Is it full screen or not yet? Just 1 minute.
Next slide. Dr. Deba Prasad Sarkar, renowned for his contribution to education and scientific research, was a simple human being. He was born in a remote village named Indash in the district of Bankura on 12th of June in the year 1931. His father was late Prabhas Chandra Sarkar and mother was late Durgabati Sarkar. Education. Dr. Sarkar was a brilliant student from the very beginning. He was remarkably hardworking, patient, and a true son of the soul. The Sarkar family shifted to North Calcutta, namely Bow Bazar, from his early childhood and Deba Prasad was admitted in Scottish Church Collegiate School. Later, he took admission in Bongobashi College, graduated in zoology honors, followed by the University of Calcutta. His academic career was brilliant throughout. He stood first class second in MSc from the university. Now, his works. His PhD research work was on reproductive physiology in snakes and lizards, which received many national and international acclaim. Dr. Deba Prasad Sarkar started his career as a laboratory demonstrator at Shivri College. After completing MSc, he joined Uluberia College as a lecturer in zoology. Later, he shifted to St. Xavier's College, where he served as the head of the Department of Zoology. Students enjoyed his teaching as well as his simple and loving behavior. At last, he became the principal of Behala College and made remarkable changes to the standard of teaching and administration in the college. He was professor of B.Ed department at St. Xavier's College also. From these, Dr. Sarkar was also involved in the examination procedures of higher secondary joint entrance examination of West Bengal, Vishwabharati University, and also Agartala University. He authored a number of books, among which textbook on Madhyamik Life Science by Sarkar and Boshak, write-ups in science and literary magazines, and regular newspaper columns are noteworthy. Now, we take a look at the man. He was a simple and honest human being, a genuine believer in God, an ardent follower of Ramakrishna Paramhansha, a disciple of late Shami Bhuteshanandaji, a football fanatic, a Mohun Bagan supporter, and a club member, and a benefactor of education and research. This great human being breathed his last on 28th of February 2007. That's all for this presentation. Thank you all.
Thank you. And I must add on that Dr. Deba Prasad Sarkar was my teacher also, and I have personally read his book in my school life. And his teaching on what you call in reptiles is different, unique, means vertebrate zoology, his subject actually. And he has some research plan on caloties, etc. He shared with me that is not performed in still yet. So we will work on and see. Thank you, Nivanita. And I would now like to welcome our today's speaker, my elder brother, Dr. Sumit Poddar. Just
Am I audible?
yes, Dr. Sumit Poddar is a retired doctor at present. He was attached to a Somnath Pandit Hospital, and on the rabies control, he has different contribution. He has patent on rabies needle, and also he is the Secretary General of Association of Prevention of Control of Rabies in India, and joined with the Association of Rabies, the APCRI Journal, Association of Prevention of Control of Rabies Journal. that is specially published articles on rabies. So he not only he is the rabies specialist, he also critical care and disaster management cell chairman of Rotary District, Kolkata. I think number I cannot remember, but from the Rotary, he has traveled extensively in during the disaster in Bhopal and also cyclone in recent cyclone in West Bengal. Everywhere he and his team, with his team moved forward to assist the first we go there to assist the affected people. Without wasting much time, I want to call Dr. Sumit Poddar. Dada, please.
Thank you for your very lucid uh, what I will say for your intervention. Anyway, the first of all, I must thank Dr. Sandeep Poddar, who has organized the program along with Dr. Shormila Mitro, the principal of Behala College, and also my homage to late Dr. Deba Sarkar and from and her and his daughter is Deepanita Sarkar, as well as my regards to all of you present in the audience who has taken possible this program to be success in general. Anyway, first of all, I must say that I am not yet retired. I have retired from my service in the year of 2010. After that, I engaged myself in critical care practice and anti-rabies practice and also immunization practice and get myself involved in many disaster management programs throughout the world and throughout the country. Anyway, today I feel proud that immunization on the National Immunization Day, the seminar has been organized. I want to skip some of the slides because due to the time constraint. And first of all, we should know some of the comments has already been passed during the deliberation of Dr. Shormila Mitra. And the objective of the immunization is to increase the immunization coverage, number one, to improve the quality of service, to achieve the self-sufficiency in vaccine production and manufacturing in cold chain equipments. It's very important to keep all the vaccine in a particular temperature. Suppose, for instance, we are keeping all the vaccines between 2 to 8 degrees centigrade temperature, but some vaccines like recent in pandemic situations, like Sputnik and other some vaccines have to be stored in a very minus degree centigrade, in a very so cold chain maintenance, at least to keep the potency active, is very important. To establish reliable cold chain equipment and establish a good surveillance network, that is also important, and to introduce a district-wise system monitoring and evaluation, and of course, to train the health personnel. So what is immunization? In one word, we can say that immunization is a process of giving a vaccine to a person to protect them against the disease. Second is, what is herd immunity? We have already heard this term, this herd immunity, or usually derived from a veterinary aspect, but is it community immunity? I must say it is definitely community immunity. When enough people in a community are immunized against a disease, the chance of outbreak is greatly reduced. This type of community protection is known as herd or community immunity. To reach herd immunity against a disease, a community must have between 74 to 95% of the people immunized, depending upon the disease. So, immunization saves lives. It protects you, your family, and your community, and as a whole, ourselves all. Immunization helps to protect future generations by eradicating the diseases. Many infectious diseases are rare, are eradicated now as a result of immunization programs, but new infectious diseases are appearing around the world. Suppose in case of polio, we have already been successful in eradicating practically this disease, and India is now declared as also a polio-free country only due to the eradication of polio. And for instance, this entire vaccination procedure has been conducted and by the government with the motivation of Rotary International throughout the world. So there is a big role, huge role of Rotary International also. They come as the largest partner in the as a non-government organization by helping the disease eradicated. Now, coming to the history of immunization, I must say, before the modern era of childhood immunization, parents would have been surprised that at the thought that future generations would be able to protect their children from many of the most serious childhood infectious disease. After all, there is a time when diphtheria was one of the most feared childhood diseases, claiming more than 10,000 lives in a year in the United States during 1920s. In the 1940s and 1950s, polio paralyzed and even killed children by the thousands. At one point of time, the measles affected nearly 500,000 in US children every year. Almost everyone in the United States got it and some in some point during childhood, and it sometimes caused complications such as pneumonia and encephalitis. Fortunately, times have been changed and uh, uh, we are in a process of protecting them. Today, most children lead their healthier lives, and parents live with much less anxiety and worry over infections during childhood. Yet, vaccines are most relatively recent development. Barely more than 200 years ago, in the United Kingdom, Edward Jenner noticed that some dairy maids seemed protected from the smallpox if they had already been infected by the much less dangerous virus that causes cowpox. And in the year of 1796, Jenner conducted an experiment, scratching the arm of an 8-year-old boy named James Pitt and using material from a cowpox
এই একটা
in
ওয়েব
one of these dairy mates. Then he repeated the same experiment, but this time added a small amount of smallpox into the same child. So these are all histories. The what he hoped that the procedure would minimize the child against the deadly smallpox infection. In fact, it did. Jenner's experiment began the immunization age. The next major advance occurred in 100 years later than Louis Pasteur, MD, showed that a disease could be prevented by infective humans with weakened germs. In 1885, Dr. Pasteur used a vaccine to successfully prevent rabies in a boy whose name was Joseph Mischer, who had been bitten by a rabid dog, and by the mid 20th century, regular progress, the immunization was made. Jonas Salk and also Albert Salk and Sabin made what are perhaps the best breakdown of advances based on advances. They developed the inactivated polio vaccine and live polio vaccine respectively. So their discoveries have saved countless children worldwide from the polio, a disease that often left youngsters dependent on wheelchairs or crutches for life. Today, immunizations are one of the success stories of modern medicine. So, smallpox was declared eradicated from the world in the year of 1977. Polio was officially eliminated from the United States and the rest of the Western Hemisphere in 1991, whereas 13,000 to 20,000 cases of polio were reported every year in the United States before the availability of the vaccines. No cases were reported in 2000. Oh, while there were 12,230 deaths from diphtheria in the United States in 1921, there was only one case of diphtheria reported in 1998. So this is in jest of the history of the immunizations. The list of serious disease that have been eradicated or whose numbers have been dramatically reduced by immunizations continues to grow, from the mumps to measles, from rubella right up to the tetanus. So recent update, the academic committee of immunization experts, they have voted already, and they have already adopted edited immunization schedules for adults and children for 2021. That means this year. Among the updates, the committee recommendations on prevention and control of seasonal influenza with vaccines for the 2021 season, published in August 2020, were formally adopted. A link has been added to the helpful information section of the adult immunization schedule to answer common queries and questions about shared clinical decision-making recommendations. So, shared clinical decision making between the patients and the clinician should be used when considering particularly hepatitis B vaccine for individuals with diabetes who are 60 and older. Twin risks, a vaccine against disease caused by hepatitis A virus and infection by all known subtypes of hepatitis B virus, may be administered on an accelerated schedule of 3 doses at 0, 7, and 21 to 30 days. 0 is the first dose, 7 is the boostering of the first dose, and 21 and 30 days between that time is boosting up another one, that is the third dose, followed by a booster at 12 months to individuals traveling in countries and that have high intermediate rates of hepatitis A infection. So these are in gist booster dose recommendations for vaccination in special situations and individuals in an outbreak setting. Quadrivalent LIV should not be used in children younger than 2 years or in patients who have received some antiviral drugs within the previous 48 hours, and these antiviral drugs within the previous 5 days or within the previous 17 days. These are some indication, these are some where to give the vaccination properly. Taking the full history is very important. For patients who will show an egg allergy, should not be given. Any allergic manifestations, we'll have to take the history properly to counteract the adverse effect. And also healthcare professionals are advised to severe allergic reactions that may, even after the absence of a history of previous allergic reaction, and that all clinicians who administered vaccine should be familiar with the office emergency plan to be certified in the CPR, of course. And the previous severe allergic reactions to influenza vaccine is a contraindication to future receipt of the vaccine. So these are the in general regarding the immunization. And coming to the vaccination and immunization, first of all, we must know what is a vaccine. A vaccine is any preparation intended to produce immunity to a disease by stimulating the production of antibodies. That means we will give an antigen. The vaccine is an antigen, apparently, and that will produce the immune system booster, and that will produce the specific antibody. So vaccine include, for example, suspensions of killed or attenuated microorganisms or products or derivatives of microorganisms. The most common method of administering vaccines is by injection, but some are given by mouth or nasal spray. It is very important. Just will be given in the mucous membrane that will induce the protective level of antibodies. It is under process, and some vaccines are coming in this way. So a vaccine is a biological preparation that improves immunity to a particular disease. A vaccine typically contains an agent that resembles a disease-causing microorganism and is often made from weakened or killed forms of the microbe. The agent stimulates the body's immune system to recognize the agent as a foreign, destroy it, and remember it, so that the immune system can more easily recognize and destroy any of these microorganisms that it later encounters. So, regarding the timeline of the vaccines, in 18th century, 1796, first vaccine of smallpox, first vaccine for any disease. 19th century, 1885, first vaccine for rabies administered by Louis Pasteur to a person, to a boy who has been bitten by a rabid dog. His name was Joseph Michel. That is a big milestone in this way. So in 20th century, there's a lot of series of vaccines has come. In 1932, first vaccine for yellow fever. 1945, first vaccine for influenza. Even still now, if we have to go travel to South Africa, we'll have to take the vaccine for yellow fever. That is common there. So in 1952, first vaccine for the polio. Now it is completely eradicated, particularly from the India. And in 1954, first vaccine for Japanese encephalitis is there. We'll have to take it because this is also very serious disease, and sometimes it becomes fatal. So in 1957, the first vaccine for adenovirus 4 and 7. Now in 1962, first oral polio vaccine came in the market. And the objective of eradication of polio by observing the National Immunization Day in a single day, all the children below the age of 5 years, up to the 5 years, they got the oral polio vaccines, they passes in the stool, thereby acquiring the herd immunity. So this is the objective mainly. So in first vaccine for measles came in 1964, then in 1967, first vaccine for the mumps. So in 1970, there is another first vaccine for the rubella, MMR vaccine, just in a single shot. Now, the first vaccine for chickenpox came in 1974. In 1977, regarding pneumonia, that is a dreaded complication now. Most of the elderly patients suffers from this pneumonia. So this is this pandemic situation. The COVID infection is also presence of viral pneumonia, pneumonitis, both lungs, fibrosis, and ultimately succumb. The patient, if cannot be treated properly, cannot take care. So vaccination is very much important and needed to prevent these diseases also. First vaccine for meningitis in 1978. Then 1981, first vaccine for hepatitis B. Many patients are suffering from hepatitis B, ultimately develop fulminating hepatic failure. So this is also very much needed for hepatitis B vaccine. And we are already in a practice that we are taking the vaccine of hepatitis B. Before that, we'll have to go for test, for simply pathological test for detection of hepatitis B, HBV, hepatitis B vaccine before taking the vaccine. Now, first vaccine in 1992 is the hepatitis A, and first vaccine for rotavirus in 1998. It is also very important. And 21st century, we are now in the door of first vaccine for COVID-19. So WHO, nearly 9 million children under the age of 14 years of age die every year from infectious disease. And at least a third of them could be saved if existing vaccines were more widely used, but the rest only is suitable. New vaccines are developed. So it is very important. Now, stages, there are different stages in production of the vaccine by the regulation of the developing vaccines. There is the authority that they will judge. The number one is the studies. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. What is phase 1 study? Is safety and immunogenicity being tested. In phase 2, immunogenicity, safety, and dose ranging. What will be the exact dose? Phase 3, efficacy, safety, immunogenicity, both. And in phase 4, we are on whenever it comes in the market, that comes under the stage 4. BLA, preclinical and clinical data to support the approval for infection. And also phase 4 needs inspection, needs safety, efficacy, lot release. That is after phase 4, then we are completing the entire procedure. BLA is a supplement, post-approval changes are there. So stages of vaccine development are vaccine developed proceeds through discovery. Process engineering, toxicology, technology, and animal studies or to human phase 1, 2, and phase 3 trials. The process can take many, many years depending on the disease itself. So stage 1 development is human trials focus initially on safety involving small group of people. Stage 2 development is progress to moderate size target populations, persons close to the age and other characteristics for whom the vaccine is intended to determine the both safety and the stimulation of particular immune response. And now stage 3 development is finally to large target populations and to establish whether a vaccine actually prevents a disease and also as its efficacy or intended. So an ideal vaccine should be, in a nutshell, I can tell, it should have a very good immune response. That means T cell activation is necessary. So properly T cell activation is necessary. Both cell-mediated immunity and antibody response to be there, and it should reach the protective level of antibody response. Suppose in case of rabies, after administering 3 doses of vaccine, what we see on the day 14 is whether that level is more than 0.5 IU or not. If it is more than 0.5 IU, and then it will be definitely shows that proper and adequate antibody response against the disease. Suppose in case of COVID-19, we are coming with the many vaccines are coming, and we will have to give one vaccine, then 2 vaccines are needed on the 1 month time, within 1 month of time. And this is day 0, day 20 to 30. And day 0 is the first, is the primary response, and between this time they will develop secondary response, and in the day 20 to 30 it will definitely boost up the memory cell, giving a long lasting immunity. So it is the most important thing. Immunity is long lived, that is our target. There should be a long immune status, as well as immunity should be very lengthy, and the IgG will go up and up. So single dose, that is another important thing. We are now working, as I can tell you, that working, suppose in case of rabies vaccine, I can tell you because I am more attached with the rabies vaccine, and we have seen that we have to use 4 to 5 doses of anti-rabies vaccine to be administered in a particular patient who is being attacked by a dog or a cat or a rabid animal. So in these cases, we have seen we are utilizing these vaccines. Now we are in a process that we are very soon, in the month of November, we will come out with a vaccine. But in that, I am a member of that particular committee. Also, we are doing work on this aspect to reduce the doses with proper antigenic coverage. Suppose if I can give a proper antigen in a regulated dose, which will release slowly, by that way we can reduce the dose of the vaccine, and 3-dose rabies vaccine will come in the market in the month of November, I guess. So that will be manufactured by Cadila Pharmaceutical, and fortunately I am one of the author of that particular vaccine when it will come. Now regarding the safety, it is very important. Danger of reversion to virulence or severe disease immunocompromised, that we'll have to assess. Finally is the stability. Definitely organisms in the vaccine must remain viable in order to infect and replicate in the host. Organisms in vaccine must remain viable in order to infect and replicate the host. And maintenance of the cold chain, it is actually the first point. We will have to maintain the cold chain properly. Otherwise, all the vaccines that is being stored will lose their uh, efficacy. So to maintain the efficacy and also the potency, that is much more important. The cold chain maintenance is very important. And finally is expense. So we'll have to think about the A is the expense. It should be very economical, that is being can be administered toward the entire population. Suppose we are in suppose we are dealing all this. India is a country where there is 130 crores population is there. And in West Bengal, it is near about 9 crores of population. So we'll have to take particular attention so that each and everyone will get the vaccination, and the child or the adult immunization is plays much important role. And if we can give vaccination on a priority basis, then it is possible. Now, regarding the child immunization or vaccination is a way to create immunity or protection form in some diseases. This is done by using small amounts of a killed or weakened germ that causes the disease. And germs can be viruses, which can be measles virus or bacteria, such as pneumococcus. This is, for instance, just citing that. And there are some doses, there are some vaccines that they are being administered, chicken pox and diphtheria and all this. There are certain ages also there that I think we should not discuss it there elaborately. But there are different ages, and within these different ages, there is a schedule that we are vaccinating the children starting from the birth. And of course, influenza vaccine, measles vaccine, meningococcus vaccine, these are very important because these are fatal disease. So it is very much important. So this is the main thing regarding the child vaccination. Now, what is adult immunization? Vaccination is recommended throughout the life to prevent infectious disease and their sequelae. And vaccines are crucial to prevent mortality in that more than 25% of deaths are due to infections. Vaccines are recommended for adults on a basis on a range of factors. Substantial improvement and increase in adult vaccination are needed to reduce the health consequences of vaccine preventable disease among adults. It is important. So WHO consider child vaccination as the first priority. But there is not yet focus on the adult immunization so much. Adult immunization in India is the most ignored part of healthcare services. I can tell this really has to be given special importance. The expert group recommended that data on infectious disease should be updated, refined, and reviewed periodically and published regularly. So these groups suggested that the consensus guidelines about the adult immunization should be reviewed every 3 years or incorporated new strategies. So there is an immediate need to address the problem of adult immunization. Although many issues resolving around efficacy, safety, and cost for introducing vaccines for adults as a national level are yet to be resolved, there is an urgent need to sensitize the health planners as well as healthcare providers regarding these present issues. So, in summary, I can tell different countries needs to immediately address and challenge of adult immunization. Although many issues resolving around efficacy, safety, and cost of introducing vaccines for adults at the national level are yet to be resolved, there is an urgent need to sensitize health planners as well as healthcare providers regarding this pertinent issue. And adult vaccination must become a part of routine immunization because this vaccine can save millions of lives in the world. So it is very important. And in summary, I can tell that recommended adult immunization schedule, vaccine and age groups are there. There is a chart, and so it is has to be properly followed. In case of adult immunization, routinely, most of the patients suffer from many diseases. These are preventable diseases, mind it. So adult can be saved by administering proper dose of vaccination. Now, prevent many deaths in COVID-19 affected patients is important. So this procedure is still under process. There are already the vaccine in the market. We'll have to take that vaccine right now because it gives 70% safety at least from the disease itself. Antibody, how long it remains, we do not know. But expecting that it will be more than 8 months of time should it be there, the proper antibody. And the patient who is being suffered from COVID-19 infection, they are also has to be taken this vaccine because their immunity sustained. If they do the antibody response, they will see that after some time, the antibody response come down. So to boost up the proper antibody response, we have to take the COVID-19 vaccines. At least 70%, one vaccine is working, and another vaccine is still not yet in the market that provides 95 percentage of proper antibody response. So we now realizes the need of immunization more vividly to save and protect the human civilization. Many vaccines are now in the streamline. The world of zoonosis, it is very important, simultaneously to be kept under observation and proper vaccination because we'll have to treat all these curriculum in a one health initiative. That is important. If the animals are okay, they can be prevented from acquiring some diseases. The human also will be prevented. Suppose this COVID infection, first of all, originated from Wuhan in China in December 2019, and ultimately that one came in globally. It has been spreaded. So this zoonotic world has been properly taken care, should be taken care along with this. Current situation in COVID-19 is different portal system has to be developed in national and international level. To me, it seems to be regarding the vaccination, there is a not much program, at least awareness program throughout the country, throughout the media. Media should come forward for motivating the general public, the motivating the students. They are the backbone of the nation so that they can be given proper dose of vaccination and protect themselves. And vaccines work. Suppose in one time whooping cough, there were 17,777 cases were there, now decreased about 87%. Polio, 100%. Diphtheria, at one time, there is a lot of patients who are suffered from diphtheria, and ultimately it has come down to 99%, even more. So these diseases will pass out definitely at the time passes on. New COVID strain is detected. It is another threatening procedure. So one strain is there existing, and coming strains are definitely there. These strains are different. There is no vaccine yet generated in that strain. So we must be very cautious, very particular, at least to keep ourselves fit. And this is Dr. Anthony Fauci warned that the COVID-19 variant ranging in the United Kingdom, which is the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, has predicted will become dominant in the United States within roughly 2 months, is likely more deadly than current common strain of coronavirus. So within 2 months, there may be, he has predicted that within 2 months, there may be new strains are there. We will have to keep ourselves very safe. At least these guidelines has to be maintained. One thing is mask, wear the mask, and definitely hand wash, and other maintaining the safe distance and all these things, and take the vaccination. So this is very much important, and to be safe, keep ourselves safe, we'll have to be very much uh, very much cautious. Now, current situation needs to emphasis on the more reliable and sophisticated technology, which will be easy to administer. So the futures definitely are there. There are many things we'll have to work selflessly, and so that we can take good vaccines, we can take minimum dose of vaccine, which will give a long-lasting immunity. That is the objective. To stop outbreaks, new disease, or a known ones like measles and polio, we must support and invest in the vaccines technology. So vaccines for non-infectious disease, regarding against virus, regarding against bacteria, against parasite, all these things. Still now, we do not have any vaccines against dengue fever. Till still now, we do not have any vaccines against malaria. So we'll have to work on this aspect also, so that we can take this one regarding a vaccination schedule regarding to eliminate dengue-like fever and all these things. So another important is the monoclonal and polyclonal antibody. This monoclonal antibody refers to an antibody normally recognizing only a single antigen and within which only a single common epitope is recognized. It is important. It is the next step. Polyclonal antibody refers to an antibody normally recognizing only a single antigen, but within which a number of different epitopes are recognized. So the time will come when the need for monoclonal antibody will be increased. There are some monoclonal antibody still now using their the doses and drugs in the case of laryngeal carcinoma, also in case of rabies-like diseases, where we are using the monoclonal antibody with safety and efficacy. A cocktail is also another important that is being also developed in some cases in the name of twin drag. Also, there is some both combination of the monoclonal that antibody along with some other antibody that will work against two or specific different diseases. Now, to summarize again, immunization is the most effective way to actively protect your child from preventable diseases and also the adult, such as whooping cough, tetanus, hepatitis B, and measles, rabies, COVID-19, etc. The first time we have exposed to a germ, for example, a bacterium or virus, it takes time to the immune system to respond and we become unwell. So during vaccination procedure, the adverse events following immunization has to be considered. So after administering any vaccine, the patient should be kept under observation for at least 30 minutes of time to see any adverse effect or event is there, is not. If there is some adverse effect, then we'll have to treat accordingly. To conclude, the benefit of vaccination extend beyond prevention of specific diseases in individuals. They enable as a rich, multifaceted harvest for societies and nations. The vaccination makes good economic sense and meets the need to care the weakest members of the societies. The faster we complete vaccination, the better. It will ensure that the virus cannot mutate or become more deadly. We need a vaccinated world, which is a better place to live and will protect in future for the next generation. So this is all about just a nutshell. I have tried to explain regarding the immunization. Again, I thank earnestly to Professor Sandeep Poddar, who has given the enough scope at least to emphasize on this aspect particularly, and also Professor Dr. Mitra, and definitely, Madam, you have also motivated with your inspiring speech, and also the Dr. Sarkar, Dipannita Sarkar, the daughter of Mr. DP Sarkar, Deba Prasad Sarkar, and also all the learned and motivating participant who has taken part in it. Thank you very much. Thank you again. Thank you. We are waiting for a better and healthier tomorrow after administering each one of us with a good vaccination, starting from childhood up to the adult sector. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir, for the wonderful speech. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Thank you.
There is two questions, one from the chat box, and one of the main cause of decrease in COVID cases in India is said to be herd immunity. Why?
No, it is a natural procedure. When the herd immunity gains, this immunity, this what came from veterinary sector. And this immunity will provide us at least to reduce the affection. Definitely. It is now becoming, because most of the patients are being affected primarily with COVID infection, COVID-19. Somebody reported to hospital, somebody treated in the home, and somebody has done test, and most of the patients did not done any test. So by acquiring this herd immunity, COVID patient is now decreasing. Secondly, important thing, there are still COVID patients are there. They are not reporting. So the virulence of the virus, particular virus, is coming down definitely. So it has also helped because it is already we are having our own immune system. It is automatically fighting against the disease and getting the herd immunity. Thank you for the good question.
Another question is there from Dr. Mitu De, Gurudas College. She is asking that, will the vaccination have a role in herd immunity?
And definitely, because whenever you are administering a vaccine, we are getting an antibody response. Suppose I am a COVID patient, okay? I am now an antibody response more than 1.3 or 4. That is, if it is, I am having more than 1.3 or 1.4, and this antibody response, definitely I am still protected. But how much protected, I do not know. It will definitely will come down. At least to boost up these dose, this vaccination process, we will have to adapt ourselves, whether I'm affected with COVID or non-COVID. The result is the same. But if there is any antibody is already there, this vaccine will work as and just boosting up this antibody, because it will already be, we can assume that the antibody will be there at least 8 months to 1 year time. So after that, I think again we'll have to take the vaccine. But it is very early to pass comment. Many studies are needed for this future process of vaccination. But recently, we'll have to give 2 doses of vaccine, COVID or not COVID. Thank you.
Thank you. I can see Dr. Sri Rejki, the rector of Unimas Mahabodhya University, Indonesia, joined. Welcome, madam. Thank you for joining. And I request Madam Dr. Shormila, madam, to say a few words. Then Dr. Walija will give vote of thanks. There is no other question in chat box. Thank you, Dada.
Thank you very much.
Madam. Principal madam, Dr. Shormila madam.
Yes, I'm there.
Madam, কিছু বলবেন?
ঠিকই আছে. It was wonderful, and I hope participants have liked it, and not only that, they have learned something. Awareness has been created regarding immunization, which we really needed, especially today's scenario. This was very, very relative. So once again, thanks to all.
Thank you, madam. And all participants, just I want to add a note that we know that you can see from the slides from 1930, 40, 50s, we are developing different types of vaccine. But still today, we are using means newborn baby, we are using pulse polio vaccination. But polio is still not eradicated completely from the world. So this thing we have to keep in remember that even we have vaccine for COVID, we must remember that COVID will stay with us, and we must take proper precaution in everyday life. And it may come up with different strain, and that is also affected. But we should be careful that it is a change. Life is not a still like ECG curve. If it is straight line, it is dead. So if there is no change, the life is dead. So evolution will be there, and genetical changes will be there. New strain will come up, and we have to develop new vaccine, new medicine, everything. It is not that we cured and we can move forward. There will be obstruction, there will be different types of vaccination, and this we should remember, and we should cope up with this in our near future. Many persons in last 1 year have committed suicide due to loss of their job, loss of their mental depression, for their family members lost, and many what you call, when a person of a family affected and admitted to hospital, many expenses are there, and they cannot see even the family member who has died due to COVID. So there is a mental torture and depression exists in among the population being. So there is a way we should know that it will be there, and we should be fighting. If we cannot fight, as Charles Darwin told, struggle for existence and nature will select. If we cannot struggle, we cannot exist. The survival of the fittest. Thank you. I welcome Dr. Walija, Madam from the Zoology Department, Behala College, to give the vote of thanks. Madam Walija, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for attending Dr. Deba Prasad Sarkar Memorial Lecture, organized by Dr. Taraknath Poddar Memorial Foundation, Behala College, and Lincoln University. First, I am thankful to our today's resource person, Dr. Sumit Kumar Poddar, for enriching us with such a new and relevant topic. And now I am going to thank Dr. Suryaprada Poddar, the president of Dr. Taraknath Poddar Memorial Foundation, Sumit Poddar, Dr. Sumit Poddar, vice president and today's resource person in this webinar, Mr. Ritinkar Dotto, secretary, and all management committee of Dr. Taraknath Poddar Memorial Foundation. Thank you, everyone. I must also thank the president of Dr. Aurobindo Ghosh of Behala College. Thank you, sir, for your suggestion and always helpful to us. I must thank our principal, Madam Dr. Sharmila Mitro, for his constant help and endurance in the whole process of organizing this webinar. I must thank the IQAC coordinator, Dr. Ujjoyini Mukhopadhyay, for her help. I must thank all the colleagues, Zoology Department, and all the other colleagues of different departments of Behala College, the students of the Behala College. I must thank Dr. Omiyo Bhomik of Lincoln University, President and Management Committee members of the Lincoln University College, Malaysia, for giving us this support. And I must thank Ms. Dipanita Sarkar, daughter of Dr. Deba Prasad Sarkar, and all the family members of Dr. Deba Prasad Sarkar to support and present in this webinar. And lastly, I must thank Dr. Sandip Poddar, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Innovation, Lincoln University College, for organizing this seminar. Thank you, everyone, all participants, all dignitaries, our resource person, and all the learned members of this webinar to be with us and to help.
Stop.
I think Madam disconnected. So thank you, everyone. I must also mention that Dr. Deba,
হঠাৎ পজ হয়ে গেল কেন?
Madam, the internet problem.
আচ্ছা।
So I also must tell that Dr. Deba Prasad Sarkar's son is also a medical doctor, and youngest son is a zoologist, and he is working in US. His time zone is now 3 a.m. at night. So previously we thought that he will deliver the lecture. He also eager very much, but as the time is different, so he cannot. Now it is after 3 a.m. at night. So he will give another day, other time, not like 3 p.m. And also we are thankful to all family members of Sarkar family members to present and support this activity. And we must learn from Dr. Deba Prasad Sarkar's lifestyle, as Madam Sharmila Mitra has seen him from his workplace very closely, how simple he leads his life, and we must get motivation from his lifestyle. Thank you for joining, and we hope that you will join our next events also and support, and stay safe, stay proper precaution, and also if Dr. Sumit Poddar want to tell anything.
No, it's all right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Wonderful. Full credit to you that you have organized. And of course, the Behala College also is there.
Yes,
But you
madam is there
are
from
doing so silently. I am really grateful to
Sorry,
you.
sir, my video couldn't get in, and I mean the co-host.
Madam is working from the background. It is showing that completely. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Yes. Barricade.
Thank you, all of you joining from Indonesia and other country. Thank you. And bye. Stay safe.